Well, we'll find out what we are talking about. You can hear some voices this morning.
Yes,
so, well, he doesn't know that we're on air yet, so don't worry. Everybody is going to know that.
Everybody's going to know. And when they see you, they'll say, oh, we should have known it was him. All right, so, when we're talking about budgets, we're talking about infrastructure and the connectivity and what states subnationals should do. And in that, we mentioned railway.
And someone said during that conversation that there are people who live in Ilorin, in some other climes,
yes,
who live in Ilorin,
yes.
And they work in Lagos.
Yes.
In some other climes, so not our Ilorin. But he also said that there are people who live in Ibadan and work in Lagos, thanks to the rail system.
Yes, yes. And even me now, if I want to go to Ibadan, I'd rather just jump on the train.
The train bus stop is far from you.
Yes, the train bus stop is far from me from Lagos, and then it takes me all the way to Moniya, which is also, if I come down at Moniya, I still need another 45 minutes to get to my father's house in Ibadan. So it's
not for you.
So sometimes you just jump on the expressway, and between the time you drive from here to Agege, and then take the train from Agege to Moniya in Ibadan, I will be my father's house in like an hour. Because the train takes another 3 hours to get
But
there.
that doesn't, undervalue.
I still like the ride, regardless of it. I still want to do it, regardless. Because I think of my safety, I think of I just sit down, my kids want to ride on the train.
Why are you advertising for the
I'm
Nigeria
just saying, like, there are pros and cons, but I want us to get rid of the cons, and so that we can...
During the rainy season, we can't get rid of the pond.
Right. So who do we have? Our very good friend. Yes. It's
well.
Oh wow. Okay, he's here already.
Dr. Cardio Kwefa. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning.
Let us begin with this one. We understand that your organization has unveiled a comprehensive development plan, which you call Vision 25-10-20. You have to explain that one to us first. And the whole idea is to optimize national rail assets and all of that. First of all, let's just ask you, how has it been? We know that the NRC is getting some good feedback from the public. But I'm also certain that knowing you are not resting on your oar simply because you are getting accolades. So how has it been?
So far, so good. We thank God. And I keep saying that we don't see challenges anymore. We see opportunities to do something better than the way it is. And we are getting both accolades and
knocks
from. It depends on.
The technical language is Glasgows.
Glasgows, yeah. The people in Abuja, Kaduna axis are doing Glasgows. The people on the Lagos axis are saying thumbs up. The people of Warri, Itakpe axis are saying,
how far?
What's going on? So it depends on where you are. But the accolades are a signal that something good is happening. The Glasgows is a signal too that you need to do more. And the what's going on is telling you that you must not give up. So, so far so good. Let me say the rail system is gradually getting back to where it was left at neglect.
Perhaps,
move forward away from that.
Perhaps one of the things that we should be doing more of now in terms of the railway system is conscientizing people. Because back then, just like, Jacques was saying, until recently, it wasn't even a thought in anyone's mind that I want to use the rail system. But thanks to this government, I think from the Jonathan days, we've been seeing that progression gradually of restoring the rail system and all of that. But perhaps it's also necessary to ask you what the challenges are, or what challenges there could be to really exploring or exploiting the full conscientization that we need. Do you think people are owning the process yet? Do you think people are understanding that these infrastructure belong to us and so we don't vandalize them? You know, what are some of those challenges?
Okay. I'm going to start from this issue of conscientizations. You know, the Montessori education model, and that's what happened yesterday. The president came up to present the budget of consolidation, renewal, resilience, and what's the last one? Shared prosperity.
Yes, shared prosperity.
And if you look at that budget, 3.5 trillion or so for infrastructure, the president mentioned rail, he mentioned transportation, and he also said there is plan to continue the modernization, to link to the ports and links all the dots along the line. So that was missing for a long time. We have built Lagos Ibadan. It was supposed to be part of Lagos to Maradi, but we have stopped at Ibadan and pushing. So people keep asking, like Joker said, that why should she get to Ibadan, then take another 45 minutes? The state governments now are coming up too. They are getting conscientized based on these regional development commissions coming up to make sure that the roads to the train stations are fixed and are made more traceable. That's what I meant by the Montessori education. So if I tell everybody about rail and they can't access the train station because the state government had not done the road, I'm killing it. But when you see it, like the little kids, it sees something, they internalize it, and they use shapes and figures and objects to make things happen. We can keep conscientizing. I agree with you. That's why I'm here. That's why you called me. That's what we're doing. That's why we have gone on the social media. We're using all kinds of handles to talk. And that's why my phone number now published on all our platforms, so that people can feel that they can own it. They don't want to own it. They want it, but they don't want to own what does not speak to them. But luckily, since the time of the last government, President Muhammadu Buhari, he took up the ball. He did Lagos to Ibadan. And he was determined to take this thing to Maradi. And the moment that happened, this government now went further to move on that platform to make sure this message that rail is now no longer on the exclusive list, it's now on the concurrent list. State governments have no excuse. Even though Lagos, Cross River, Federal Capital Territory, and River State did something, even though when it was on exclusive list. Now it is on concurrent list. That means state governments, private sector, everybody can easily come into it. So what I believe we will focus on is the way forward. On the 25, 10, 20 stuff, that's part of it. On the government part, this budget actually addresses your question, is that we are taking 2026 as the year to take rail to the people, for the people to own it. Where they have not owned it is more of Nigerian Railway issues, where all our tracks are being vandalized by communities, residents, where residents know the people who come to steal and keep calm. Where residents turn our rails to their gates structure. They pull our materials to use in their properties, believing it is part of the shared prosperity. So that is, they have not owned it, but give it to them. The people on the southwestern corridor owned it. That is the Lagos, Ibadan, up to the narrow gauge Osogbo is owned. You have less of problems on those corridors. The worry type of axis, the communities are yet to own it, because the rail is in the outskirts, it's in the bushes. So they don't even see the rail. The way they could have appreciated the rail is if, or they could have take ownership, if the state government had built the road. Let me see your example. I'll mention states here. Agbo station to town. Assuming there is a road there, there will be a lot of businesses along that road. And give it to the Itakpe axis. I mean the Ajaokuta and Itakpe axis. Where you have the train station, you have a lot of businesses, because there is an access to the station. And that's what Ogun State also has done now. The Ladere, I don't know if I pronounce that, Wole Soyinka station. There is now a road that takes you from Wole Soyinka station right into the town. In another 2 years, the whole of that corridor will be populated by businesses. And that's what Oyo needs to do, to take Moniya to town and take Omiadio to Dubai.
Yes,
make that thing accessible. So when you create facilities along to link to the rail, you will now see activities along that corridor. That will become shared prosperity too. That will make people more conscious that they have a rail station. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I was at the airport and I met an influential Nigerian who comes from Omiadio. You know the man who mentioned his name. Now I said I have a catch. If you know what these Omiadio communities have done around that train station, they should get an award. These are people who owns, they take ownership. So it's a combination of all of us. Yeah. We have to do our part. We need to do more. Like in the Ebute axis now, this season, we have decided we're going to do our own dirty Ebute Meta around the corner, dirty December. We're going to make that station for Bolaji Johnson and Agege lively. Let the people of the community know there's something big in the area. So the same thing we'll do at any of our stations, Kubwa, for the other. But on the Warri Takwe axis, all the stations are far away from where the community lives. The state governments have not done roads to link these train stations.
Are you aware? I heard, you may want to validate if you are aware, that the Oyo State government has some intra-state rail system plans. Is that correct? Are you aware of that?
Let me put it this way. Many of the state governments have their own intra-state plans. I'm aware of that of Lagos. I'm aware of that of
Of course, you are aware of Lagos.
I'm aware of that of Enugu State. And Borno is coming up with one. Instead of doing one, Plateau just adopted a corridor, and they are developing it alongside with, we call it reeling with the states. So we have a program that, but if they have, we are planning a national summit very soon, where all the commissioners of transportation will sit down with the regional commissions and will look at the national plan, which the president alluded to in the budget, and see how they can plug it.
I know,
but I'm not aware of. I'm not that aware of that of.
I know Joke has a list of questions for you, but one of the things that I thought we grew up on, and grew up with, the experience that I thought we grew up with, and you may want to validate it, is the freight system. Back then, correct me if I'm wrong, hardly would you find trailer trucks pulling fuel all over the nation, usually borne by pipes, sometimes by rail tankers and all of that. And also, back then, you transported goods and services a lot via the rail. Tomatoes, animal husbandry, and all those things. A lot of them more by the rail. Is that coming back?
It's already back, and it needs to be sustained. But there are issues around it. You're talking of the western and the eastern corridor. That's the Lagos, Kano, Nguru, Kaura, Namora, and the Port Harcourt, Aba, Enugu, Makodi, Maduguri route. And you said back in the days, let's put it in context for the new generations, that was the prosperity of Nigeria. Nigeria's prosperity was primarily based on those two corridors. The prosperity of the Dantata dynasty is also tied to the rail corridor. I spoke with one of the grandsons, I think 2 days ago, and he just wrote a book. The Kano pyramids was successful because of the rail from Kano to Baro and Kano to Lagos. Because of that, there was even a spur that was taken to the Dantata family trading point. A rail corridor was created for them so they can move the the groundnuts and the cuttings or whatever right from their own storehouse to the port for export. And these were the things that all the Nigeria's economy of those days. So why did I say is back? Is that we're working seriously. As soon as the funding comes out, I believe it should be part of this 2026 budget to put the narrow gauge to Kano back to such a sustainable level that it can withstand derailment, attacks, or whatever. And that customers, clients, people who are using trucks now, will be so confident in the rail that when they put their goods on the rail, they can sleep. It will not be attacked. Now, a lot of them have shown up. I won't mention them now because that will be advertisement. But you know the names without even telling you. The big fax consumer goods manufacturers and this, the top 10. state governments, I can mention Niger State, Kaduna State, Kwara State. They are all justly to have that corridor back so that they can move products from the north down to where they are. You have the population, no idea, in Lagos, Oyo, and Kano. That's where you have the population to consume all of those things. Now, Niger State is, in particular, has also applied for almost everything along that corridor to turn them to warehouse so that the agro-revolution going in Niger can get to Lagos and can also get to Kano. Now, Kaduna State government is also working hard on its rail project. So also is Kano State government, supported by the federal government. So as to take advantage of moving goods, the south, north-south business system. So if we get the Lagos Kano back, you will see a lot of those trailer houses. You know why? It will pass through Niger State, Mokwa, Suleja. That is where in the north central zone, where all these trucks have the entity. It also pass through Lokoja. That is the central line that is now at Ajaokuta. There is a plan, is also containing some of the statement in the budget to get it down to Abuja and then straight to Kaduna. So once that is done, you will see all these trucks you're mentioning that they will start reducing. Provided the Nigerian Railway Corporation, the various individuals who are going to be investing in the rail value chain can make it competitive with road. It must be competitive with road. What you have now is the trailers are still going to do the last mile, but the handlers at both ends, either at the port or at the dry ports, are doing double handling charge. They charge you for putting your goods into the train, while they don't charge the people putting their goods into the trucks. They charge you from taking your goods from the train, while they don't charge people for bringing their goods. So there are some issues with the Cheapers Council also has to address. So, but from our own end, as at the NRC end, and our interaction with the Renew Hope Infrastructure Development Fund, the Federal Ministry of Transportation, and the economy at large, what we see is that we will see most likely about 4-fold increase in freight travel in 2026. And if you check the reports coming from the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics in the last 3 or 4 quarters, rail had always been in the top 10 of contributors to the. So silently, gradually, the rail is getting to a position where it's taking its rightful place in the Nigeria's economy.
Right. Perhaps this has answered some of the questions posed by Judon 20, one of the viewers, that had a lot of hopes that the infrastructure or transport budgets that you just alluded to, he's asking what are the plans to connect Abuja and Lagos to Southeast, given the rising cost of airfares and kidnapping. Also, the terminals on Port Harcourt to Aba are so unsightly. When will they be remodeled? So I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. Let me start from the Port Harcourt to Aba. It was constructed as a cargo rail, but later converted to passenger. The terminal are not as the ones we see on the Lagos Ibadan and the Abuja Kaduna, or the new ones we are building for the Kaduna, Kano, and Kano Maradi. The truth of the matter is there is planned improvement, but funds. So as soon as we start the project to link Ajaokuta to Abuja, that will be considered. But a lot of our senators and members of National Assembly are also taking up the initiatives to make these constituency projects, which is commendable. I don't want to mention some of the senators, just to encourage some other ones. These are valuable constituency projects for your community. But more importantly, it should not just be about the terminal. The terminals of today are functional. What those areas need, Wori, Tape, Port Harcourt, Aba. Port Harcourt, Aba is still okay with terms of connectivity to the station. But what they need more is the state government's involvement to also create value around those stations. But I agree with that caller. There is a lot of issues. I believe, don't let me be so particular, there are about 8 stations being planned to be modernized along Port Harcourt to Aba. If that's case through the budget confirmation process, then they will see. But if you go to one of the stations, I can't remember the name now, we have started on our own in conjunction with the private sector on a proof of concept to get the private sector to develop one so that people can see. And that should be ready before the end of second quarter. And if our budget proposal is eventually within this 3.5, Port Harcourt Aba is one of the major ones. I can't remember the other questions.
The connecting Lagos, Abuja to
now,
southeast.
The plan, the rail plan, like you mentioned, the 2, 5, 10, 20, has a rail connection to all the 36 states and including Abuja. So the Lagos Kano that currently stops at Ibadan is to progress to Osogbo and on his way to Abuja, with his O at Ado-Ekiti. The central line, which is from Port Harcourt, which is from Warri, Ujevu, Warri, is to continue from Ajaokuta on his way to Abuja. Now, the narrow gauge Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, which is currently at Aba, is to progress to Enugu.
Are these the facilities will just be built, or are they existing?
They are already awarded contracts. Right. It's just funding. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We are excited from the readings of Mr. President, and not just from the reading of the figures. The Mr. President specifically mentioned completing ongoing projects on road and rail, and those are I'm aware. Those are the projects that are listed. Then, in addition, he also mentioned port. So all our train lines are now to get to the port. So beyond Lagos port, that has now has 4 lines goes into the Lagos port. The narrow gauge and 3 other lines goes into Lagos port. From the Lagos port at Apapa, there is now to be a link to Tinker port. Then from Warri port, from Warri station at Ujevu, there is now to link the Warri port. Then from Port Harcourt is now to go and link Onne. Then the Barrow project is also there. The Barrow to Kano used to be one of the earliest rail systems in Nigeria. Even before Nigeria, you have a rail system from Barrow port to. So there is also been awarded, but not fully funded. Now this probably is speaking to that. Then we are going to now start the rail back from Barrow to Kano. And once all these are done, the goods can easily move out of the port, and that will address the issue of the truckers. If as soon as Shippers Council, Nigerian Railway Corporation, and the terminal operators can find a better way to price the use of it, because it's also an issue now. The port handling charges for getting to use rail is more expensive than the, and there is no handling charge for road, and you are charging handling charge to use rail. It's nowhere in the world though that you should encourage rail to be cheaper and easy to access for those who want to choose it.
But that, I mean, the penalties and charges and all those things, they are not just by the people are not going to charge themselves. So there has to be some manner of facilitation. Okay.
It's an ease of doing business.
But however, it's very, very important, you know, your response to the Southeast thing, because not just the fellow you spoke to, Chris, Charles also made the same comment that it's like, you know, despite the wealthy economic activities in Onitsha, Aba, and Enugu, as well as Owerri, it seems that the Southeast has been forgotten. So leading me to ask this question, was there ever a time that we had a rail system in the Southeast, and what happened to it?
Okay, after the Lagos Ibadan rail and the Kano Barrow line joined to form the Western Corridor, just a few years after that, the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri line was also constructed. That's the one they refer to as the Eastern Corridor line. And the reason why the South-East or South-South people are raising issues is there was a time when the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri and Port Harcourt-Kano routes were the flagship in terms of revenue in this country. You would think it is the Lagos Kano. If you go to Aba station, or you go to Umuahia, or you go to our Enugu station, you will see factories. All the major factories are there producing and putting it on the train to take to Lagos via the port, or take to Kano, Maiduguri, and the rest. However, during the last administration, under the modernization program, there was a need to build a standard gauge from Port Harcourt port to Maiduguri. So instead of picking a new alignment, we decided as a country to change to use the old narrow gauge line, and the cost was astronomical. That was to bring it lower, but still, I think it's about $12 billion. Wow. Whereas, if we just modernize improve on the old narrow gauge, it costs about $3 billion. So government then chose to rebuild it as a narrow gauge and eventually build a new standard gauge. So in the process, the rails from Port Harcourt to Aba was removed. They were removed to Enugu, sorry, and it was this government, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, that came to complete that project. So they felt they were taken out of the equation, and the president went there upon assumption of office. This President Bola Ahmed, to assure the governors and the people that he will not only complete the Port Harcourt to Aba, which he has completed, he will also take the thing to Maiduguri, and I believe it's part of this project. Now, in addition to that, under the new roadmap, there are also lines. Now, there is a plan for a Lekki deep sea port to Maiduguri. It's going to pass through the south. And there is also a plan to take a rail through Benin, Onitsha, Enugu, Uyo, Calabar. It's also going to serve the south-south and the southeast. And as soon as we are able to take the central line that moves from Warri now to Ajokuta, Itakwe, to Abuja, it's also going to serve the south-side, because there will now be connectivity between the central line and the eastern line. So there are, they feel they are out of the equation because of the suspension of the eastern line, which, if you go to the Enugu station, it's like you are at Wembley Stadium, where you have tunnels, undergrounds, connectivity, and the rest for people. It's bigger than Ido, 5 times. It's big. I think that's probably used to be the biggest train station in Nigeria. So if you go through that history, they have genuine reason to fear. But I can assure them that the current plan would take that train from Aba. I have personally visited the governor of Enugu and Apia to discuss further after the president made the transition. And they understand. And they're also in contact with the Federal Ministry of Transportation, the minister, and the presidency. That is going to happen in 2026. We will take Aba onward to Enugu. And all the sports from Enugu state government, Abia state government, Anambra state government, and the Southeast Development Commission, and we've also sat down to see how we can take advantage of those spines to expand the opportunity in the Southeast. Okay. So I want to assure them they should just have hope. They should have hope. No, don't chill. Hope.
Some people are reaching. Someone wants to know if at any point in time one of those trains going to Ibadan through the southwest and then onwards would it pass by Benin Republic? I don't know.
Benin.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's justified. The Lagos Blue Line, there is a plan by Ogun State government to take it to Agbara.
Yes.
And that's a very viable route to go to Idiroko.
Yes.
In the future. That's one. 2, the Idogo line, though it's a narrow gauge, is also on the pipeline. Working with the Southwest Development Commission, there is a plan to take the Idogo line that goes into Ogun West, Ilaro side. Is also planned. That can also be extended to the Benin Republic. Benin is a big market,
yes.
Just like you have with Maradi, just like you have with Ilela, just like you have with the border between Bakassi area, Cameroon, and this I'm sure. But the focus now is to take care of the Nigerian internal infrastructure. Focusing, the only external we have is on the AU 2063, is the Kano Maradi. I don't call it Kano Maradi, I call Lagos Maradi. Because once we connect Ibadan to Abuja, the Lakadi line, Lagos Kano Maradi line becomes completed. And many Nigerians don't understand it. That is full security for livestock, it is full security for cereal. Because it allows the landlocked Niger and the rest to bring their products down to the port and down to the Nigerian market of over 200 million people. And all the cow you chop in Lagos and Edo, 50% of entire cow in Nigeria, understand, if the figure I'm hearing is correct, is consumed between those two states. They are coming from that corridor. So as soon as we have wagons ready to move them, we have cattle wagons, we have wagons for mineral resources, we have wagons for cold wagons for vegetables, we have cold wagons for milk. The Kano milk group are already waiting for the Lagos Kano narrow gauge and this new gauge, because there are rivers to move it. We can move milk from Kano. They produce so much milk. Where do they consume the milk? It's mainly in Lagos. So they want to get the milk. Right now, they move it by river. So there is big opportunities, and the private sector should catch it. They should catch it before it's too late.
You know, there are many of these conversations that we're having now. Okay, so Okafor is, Harrison Okafor is asking why the Itapowari is not working at this festive period, especially now that airfares are quite high, undermining support for low-income Nigerians.
That's a tough road for me.
Well, you came here to answer tough questions.
No, tough road, because we once had to shut down that corridor for 60 days to make sure we resolve all infrastructure issues and the safety, security. Unfortunately, after we thought we have done everything, some funny people went and vandalized that track, and we had derailment back to back. November 1, November 8. We have completed the rehabilitation of the corridor. I'm talking of the rail track. It was completed last week. If all things being equal, we are looking at completing the repair of the coaches over this weekend, provided all things work for funding. If that happens, the people of that corridor will definitely be part of this really tight traffic.
Harrison, your question answered.
Yes. It's giving me headache. I'm even thinking of going to Warri Axis, Agbo, tomorrow to see those wagons. The issue there is more of a security issues.
Right.
The things passes. I wish I can show you pictures.
Yeah.
The clients were ran through. They broke rocks. It's like this is the train line, and these are rocks. Then they are in bushes, and the train is moving at an extra cost, because we have to provide. The one we want to do now, we have to provide 2 trains to move at the same time, to make sure that nobody. If you take some of those pandroids, those clips, those nuts, fish plates, those are what caused the November 1 to derail. We caught some of the guys involved. They've been jailed for 2 years, but we don't even want it to happen. So the issue in that corridor is more of a security.
Leading back to the question of ownership we talked about the other time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, it brings us, someone was asking about safety issues. You know, you just talked a lot about it, and you've talked about people that were already apprehended and jailed. But a lot of people are still concerned about, safety along the various corridors. That's probably why people don't even know whether should I travel by road or should I travel by train in this train.
Where there is a conflict, where there are issues between road
or should I travel by
train,
air? Yeah, still
what I've observed is that people go by rail.
Yeah.
Okay, when we had the Warri issue, and the people had to stay overnight under protection, and we gave them, they bought the ticket at 5,000 naira. We gave them 10,000 naira to go by road. They refused. They refused to take the money. They said they will wait for us to fix the track, fix the road, since we promised that we can do it within 4 hours and go by train. Why? They felt the train is more secure, is faster, safer, more convenient for them, and they feel they are more protected inside the train than going by road. So it's a cash, is it 2020? I say 50-50. So by and large, on security issues, the security agencies are doing their best. We are also doing our best with intelligence. And I can tell you, the people who fly Abuja, Kaduna will tell you they feel more secured going by the train than by the road. It's an option. And we continue to do our best and we'll continue to do our best to make sure that all areas are secure. That's the job of security agencies. I must confess to you, they're doing a lot of work, and yeah. You can never be overwhelmed. They take, and I'm so hopeful that we will continue to push. And on taking ownership, now people are coming up. The Kogi axis have already taken ownership. The Edo axis, we are working with them. I don't want to mention the actors involved. They are going to take ownership. Then the Edo axis, the government is even promising to deploy their data safe or something to make sure that happens. We have not been having security breaches. But when you have one, it is drastic. Yeah. So you don't want to have it at all. Yeah. So all the 3 states directly involved, because that corridor serves Bayelsa. People book Bayelsa bus from Abuja that takes them to Itape. That same bus company picks them at Wari and takes them to Yenokwa. That is how important some of these routes. People book a Kano trip from Abuja. The bus company takes them to Abuja. Abuja takes them to Kaduna. Then the same bus company picks them in Kaduna and takes them to Kano. I understand they go to almost all the 10 northern states. So for people to go through this exchange, it's not just the savings. For the Wari Itape side, they save about over 50% of the cost. It costs about 35,000 naira by road, by rail plus the road. Part of it, everything comes under 15,000 naira. So you can see that the value is there for them to use the rail. They only need government, and we are the government, to go extra mile and ensure that their trip is memorable without any hitch.
Right.
And we'll do that.
Right, and of course, people also want to know, you talked about how sometimes it is expensive to run these services. And I suppose that's with the campaign of the present administration for CNG. Are any of these services running on CNG, or will they run on CNG in the future?
It's all, I believe in this 2026 budget. I made the 2025 budget, but this 2026 budget, our focus is to go renewable from year 2 to year 5. Now, so at NRC, we have completed proof of concept to use LNG. So we need funds to convert our trucks to LNG or to buy. But we have completed proof. We can now run our trains on LNG and save almost 70% of diesel cost.
Wow.
That's
But the ticket pricing also come down with that.
Definitely it will come down. Now, the issue of CNG, we have adopted CNG, changing all our diesel station-powered energy to either solar or CNG. And we are in strong partnership with the PICNG to also create conversion centers within our vast real estate network all over the country, and also turn our training schools to do conversion training. So it is, and our plan is in the next 2 years, by the time we are able to resolve the use of renewable energy, we'll start powering our trains with electricity.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So you talk when we started. I think it was you were talking about young people. Young people, about bringing them on board and all of that. I usually like to ask if there is an agenda for youths, in various parts of our national life. If we say they're going to be leaders of tomorrow, can they at least even just get into the leadership school today? So in terms of what you do, rail service and all of that, is there a training system? Because I think there was a kind of Nigerian Railway
Training
Institute at some point. Is there such a thing? And particularly with the youths now, to bring them on, to let them even see the viability of what is possible for them in the future, and what kind of visuals are we giving them? Because some of them heard stories of how the old railway retirees were treated, and they don't want a repeat of that.
Yeah.
In 1988, railway went into bankruptcy, Nigeria Railway Corporation, and for 6 months. In 2002, the rail modernization program came out with a 25 years plan. In 2010-12, there was the real modernization took effect, and there was a reform. Now, specifically about the youths, our training institutes, we're supposed to have 6, only 1. It's like operating. In the 2026 proposition is to make 4 to work, and is to target the youths. The one that is currently in operation is the one in Lagos at Tejo End. And that place trains young people. I was shocked. I saw people of 18 years old. I saw 21. I thought it was going to be 4 people who have left secondary school. No. Secondary school dropouts attend that school free of charge to be trained on mechatronics. They are trained on new technologies. And when they finish, they are source for us to recruit. But because we don't have the capacity, they're all in the public space, industrial space, working. So we have capacity to do more. We do fashion training, sewing, upholstery stuff. They do electrical, they do mechanical, they do welding. At our training school in Tejo, using our own budget, our own IGR, to fund it, and some other organizations, foreign who supports, but not, but this 2026, we are proposing to renew the one in Kafanchan, the one in Enugu. You'll be shocked. It was converted to secondary school. A training school in Enugu became a secondary school when the train no longer gets to Enugu. So we can't shut down that secondary school. We are working around it because it serves the real workers who are trapped in there. So we are getting the Enugu one back, Kafanchan is coming back, Zaria is coming back, Lagos is 2 will come back in Lagos. There will be 1 for civil. Those who want to learn to make blocks and the rest. And everything we're doing in the Vision 2, 5, 10, 20 is centered around the youth. And that takes me to what Governor Fashola said during his tenure in Lagos when we had to start the Blue Line. And the story was that it may not be viable. Feasibility stuff, as I said, viable or no viable. Our generation must bequeath to the ones coming after us a real development, practical one. Because we met rail as young kids. We cannot leave the system without investing in that rail that actually built the future, today of Nigeria. And the same thing is our vision. Under our Vision 2, 5, 10, there is human capacity development, and that is also communal. All the communities around where we have rail operations will be allowed to send their people to our training school almost free of charge.
Is there a plan? I know that, most of the coaches you get, if not all, they have to be procured from abroad. Are there plans for local production of your coaches? After all, you now train people who can create the cushion that we're going to sit.
Yeah, we have people now who refurbishes, blasting and turning them to brand new ones.
So is there a short, medium, or long-term plan?
Okay, let me tell you, there is currently a wagon assembly plant at Kajola that makes wagons. The plan was, within 10 years, that plant should be able to assemble and possibly make the train system itself. I am also aware there is plan to bring another one by the private sector. The first one was by government along that same corridor. Now, what does it take to do what you talk about is the steel industry. With what government is doing on the Ajaokuta steel company, I can tell you there will be more opportunities for the private sector to invest in this thing. And I am aware of 2 or 3 plans by individuals. There is a plan for somebody to do similar thing on the central line. That is between Warri and Itakpe. So it's not for us to do. What we are doing internally is to ensure all the work yards that are moribund within the railway compounds are brought back. Because in the good days, which you mentioned, we make our own brake parts, we make our clips, we make our pan rolls, we make our fish plates. What do? We take the unserviceable rail materials, we put it in the furnace, which is dead now. We're working with Ajaokuta Steel Company to see how to bring it back. And if we cannot bring it back, we use the one at Ajaokuta, which we have signed MOU with, to make our clips and all these things. So there are plans to do this thing. It depends more on how fast we move. That also depends on how much resources is available to us to transform everything to reality.
And we're waiting for you to do that, really. Okay, so there's this question
about multiple trips. Is that the one?
Okay.
There's a question about multiple trips along the Lagos-Ibadan.
More trips.
More trips.
Shortly speaking, the beauty of NRC system is reliability. That I can move at convenient times. Right now, the Lagos-Ibadan route has trips on both sides, but just 4. It should be 10 minimum. Our target should be 16. What is the limitation is the locomotives. Sorry, the rolling stocks. They are not something that is cheap. And I know government has planned to bring up some more locomotives. As soon as we get more locomotives. However, not waiting for government, we have declared what we call the track access program for individuals who want to get involved in the value chain, to bring in their equipment. And 2 people have taken advantage. 2 interest groups have taken advantage. The Lagos State government, I understand, will make coming so soon. Plateau State have taken advantage of that. And CCEC Nigeria Limited has also taken advantage. So I'm using this medium to tell the private sector, you can bring in your own rolling stocks and run, either for freight or for
we have heard
passenger. And it can be on any route, not just the most affected route now with shortage is Abuja Kaduna. Okay. Because after that August 26th accident, one rake, a complete set of train has been out of the system. And I want to say we are working hard to increase that frequency. But it depends on involvement of the private sector, much more than even government now.
I won't be surprised if this is from your staff, so I'm not going to mention any name. Kindly help us ask your guests the welfare of his staff, the issue of 95% salary increase, as well as end-of-year bonuses as promised by him.
He made the promise, so.
Okay. My work is my words are my voice, my bond. Okay, they got 35% productivity bonus last year. Sorry, this year. That should be last year, 2024. And we promise them if they meet the revenue target for this year, they will get 100%.
Okay. Well, you heard it.
Now, because of the incident, accident, and the rest, we will meet the revenue target. But the resources to pay as at when due, as promised.
Well, your word is your bond.
So my words, wait now, we had a stakeholder meeting on Monday. Was it Monday or Thursday? Yeah, we had a stakeholder meeting where we assured them of what we'll do. And guess what? The union is very, very happy. So our words remain our bond.
Okay, well, Mr. Okoro is asking a question you've answered. What is the Nigerian government doing about Lagos to East Corridor running through Shagamu, Ijebu-Ode, or down?
That's another good news. That's a good news.
Going by road through this corridor is hell on earth if you have gone through it. And I think you've spoken,
good news.
You've spoken to that.
Part of what the president mentioned, until we have the breakdown of the budget, I know there is a plan to move from that corridor to the existing Lagos corridor. I believe in the next few weeks, not up to 4 weeks, when the budget breakdown comes out, we will have to go public on the National Rail Master Plan and release it to the public.
Well, this question also, Opoyemi Obafemi, I think it has been answered. Why the Lagos-Abeokuta-Ibadan train cannot do multiple trips. I think that one has already been answered.
We're planning to increase.
But there is this, yes. The Oluking is asking, could they involve CCTV to monitor rail tracks? When they are talking of insecurity, I believe CCTV will be key. Even in UK, Even the UK is using CCTV to monitor rail tracks. Is that
we're doing everything now. Don't let me say what we're doing. within the limits of the available funds, we're doing everything. But by and large, whatever technology you use, you have to have men on ground. It costs money. We'll soon be unveiling some new technologies. All over the world there are vandalism. I went to Portugal recently, I was shocked. Their own vandalism is different from our own. Hatred. Somebody who just carries to break the catapult the train, or not to get something out of it, but just to cause damage. Somebody will do graffiti. In South Africa, they cut the signal lines, they cut the electricity cables. So many. Every country has one form of thing. But I want to speculate in the sense that people are taking it for economic purpose. So if you go on the track and you spot somebody, how do you apprehend that person? You need men on board. So whatever, we're doing our best, and I want to assure that person who sent that message that very soon more will be done. But I can tell you it has reduced drastically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have to thank you very much.
I have something to say.
Oh, yes, say.
You have a people are expecting free train ride.
Okay, I was going to ask that. So are you doing that again?
And any moment from now, the national government, the federal government committee will make a pronouncement. And we are partaker in that endeavor. And the much that I know is that the free train ride causes some discomfort to regular train users, that they never have opportunity to use the train during that 21, 30 days. So this time around, whenever it is pronounced, we might be going at a subsidized rate, so that people who genuinely need to make these trips are the ones who showed up. Okay. We have situations where people take train from Ibadan to Lagos, stay at the train station, enjoy themselves, and take the train back. And they are not booked on the return trip, but they are already in the station. They won't go out. And we have situations where people go from Kaduna to Abuja, play for 3 hours and go. So we want only genuine travelers. If after the free train ride, we'll create days for tourism. We're also doing great tourism now for people. And we'll create free train rides later for those who want to see how train works at free period.
I won't tell you what my producer just said. Let's suffice to just say thank you so much for your time this morning. Dr. Kayode Okoyefa is Managing Director of the Nigeria Railway Corporation. And we wish you all the best at all times.
Yes,
okay.
we certainly do.